The room was dark except for a red light in the center. The smell of metal and old oil filled the air. The alien mercenaries sat around a round table, cleaning weapons and checking armor. They were from different worlds, tall, short, with skin of green, blue, and gray. They had scars, cybernetic limbs, and cold eyes. They had all fought many battles before. Their leader, Garkal, stood up. He was a tall Threxian, his black armor scratched from years of war. He tapped a screen and a map appeared in the air. "This is the job," he said. "Mining Colony 12 on the edge of neutral space. Small planet. We land, remove resistance, secure the site. Standard sweep and secure." A few mercenaries grunted. One of them, a lizard-like warrior, asked, "Who's holding the colony?" Garkal paused. "Humans." The room went quiet. No one moved. One merc froze while sharpening his blade. Another stopped loading his plasma rifle. A young recruit named Kin, who had just joined the group, looked confused. "What's the problem? They're just humans." An older merc leaned in and said, "He didn't say regular humans, he said Earthborn." Kin frowned. "So?" Garkal looked at him with tired eyes. "You haven't faced them yet." "You don't understand, then tell me," Kin said. "Why do people go quiet when they hear Earthborn?" Garkal sat down slowly. He stared at the table for a few seconds before speaking again. "Many cycles ago, my unit got sent to a place called Dren 6. Volcanic moon, no air, lava rivers everywhere. We were hired to clear out a human post. We thought it would be easy. They only had 6 soldiers." Kin smiled. "6?" Garkal didn't smile back. "Yes. 6. But they were Earthborn." The room stayed silent as Garkal's voice dropped lower. "They didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like shadows, no radio, no sound, no warning, just death. One by one, my squad disappeared." Kin blinked, now unsure. "But they were just people, right?" "No," Garkal said. "They were something else. Survivors, killers, ghosts. I barely got out alive. Half my squad died without seeing the enemy's face." He looked around the room. "So now, when someone says Earthborn, we listen, and we change the plan." The red light flickered above them. No one spoke again. Kin looked down, finally understanding the fear in their eyes. The moon. Dren 6 was a dead place. Lava flowed through cracks in the ground, and black smoke covered the sky. There was no air to breathe, only heat and fire. Garkal and his squad landed near an old mining station. The building looked broken and empty. Nothing moved. Nothing made a sound. "Scan says 6 life signs," said Doro, the tech specialist. "They're humans. Inside the station." Garkal looked at the screen. 6 Earthborn. "Keep eyes open. We go slow." His team spread out, weapons ready. The air was thick with heat. Their boots crunched on black ash. Garkal felt a strange tightness in his chest. He had fought many battles before, but something about this place felt wrong. They moved through the station's front gate. It was quiet. Too quiet. No alarms. No movement. Just silence and shadows. Suddenly a scream came from behind. Garkal turned fast. One of his men was gone. Only his weapon was left on the ground. "Check your sectors," Garkal shouted. More silence. Then another scream, this time from the roof. They looked up but saw nothing. The heat sensors picked up nothing. It was like the humans were ghosts. "They're using the vents," someone said. "Moving fast." "We need to pull back," said Doro. "They're hunting us." "No," Garkal said. "We press forward, set traps, watch every corner." As they moved deeper inside, Garkal saw something strange on the wall. A mark, 3 scratch lines made by a blade. Under it, a message written in old Earth code. "We see you." Garkal remembered that message. It had haunted his dreams for years. A shot rang out. Doro dropped to the floor, his head gone. A clean sniper shot, silent and fast. "They have a sniper," someone yelled. No sound, Garkal said. "No flash. This is Earthborn work." They tried to move back, but more traps went off. One mercenary was cut in half by a wire. Another burned alive when a hidden charge exploded. One by one, his team was picked off. No warning, no mercy. Garkal finally gave the order. "Retreat." Only 3 of them made it to the ship. Garkal looked back as they flew away. He never saw a single human face during the fight, but he knew they were there, watching. The sun on Dren 6 never rose. Thick clouds and smoke covered the sky. The land was full of black rock and rivers of lava. Garkal and the 2 survivors ran through the ash, back to their ship. But even in escape, they felt watched. Inside the ship, Garkal sat in silence. His armor was cracked, his face cut. He stared at the floor. "We lost 7, said Rek, one of the last 2 soldiers. "We never saw who killed them." Garkal didn't speak. He remembered the way his men had died. No noise, no warning, no mercy. Just like the stories said. "They're not normal," Rek added. "They didn't use drones, no machines. No support, just pure skill." Garkal nodded. That's how Earthborn fight. Later, when he checked the camera footage from the base, he saw something. A flash in the dust. A figure for just 1 second. It was a human, in dark armor. The armor was not shiny or new. It was old, worn and full of scratches. The face was covered with a mask, but the eyes were clear, cold, calm, and deadly. That was Staff Sergeant Eli Brooks. Brooks didn't move like other soldiers. He moved like a hunter. He knew every step, every turn in the base. He didn't run. He walked, quiet, slow, like he already won. He wasn't alone. In another clip, Garkal saw a woman on the roof. She held a long rifle. Her name was Dana West. She was the sniper. She shot without sound and without light. From far away, through thick smoke, she made perfect shots. She used no fancy tech, just her skill. In one video, she waited for 10 full minutes without moving. Then she took 1 shot, 1 kill. Another camera caught 2 more Earthborn soldiers setting traps. They used simple wires, old mines, and sharp metal. They used the base like a maze, turning every hallway into a death trap. There were only 6 of them, but they controlled the whole battlefield. Garkal watched every clip again and again. The Earthborn didn't fight for medals or money, they fought to survive, and they were good at it. He turned off the screen. His hands shook, just a little. "We were lucky to escape," he said. Rek looked at him. "What do we tell the client?" Garkal replied, "Tell them the truth. Tell them we ran into Earthborn." The inside of the mining shaft was dark and narrow. The walls were made of old rock and metal. Dust filled the air. Garkal and his remaining squad had followed fresh tracks. They believed the Earthborn were trapped inside. They set up lights, guns, and motion sensors. "This is it," said Rek. "They have no way out." Garkal gave the order. "Set the ambush. Wait for them to come through." The squad took positions. They hid behind rocks and machines. The sensors beeped. Something was moving deeper in the tunnel. Everyone raised their weapons. Then the lights went out. Complete darkness. The air grew cold. The motion sensors stopped working. Static filled the radios. "They're jamming us," someone whispered. Garkal turned on his helmet light. Shadows danced on the walls. Then came the sound. Footsteps, slow and steady. Boom. A small blast came from behind. Fire lit the tunnel. Screams echoed. A trap had gone off, one of their own. "They turned our bombs against us," Rek shouted. From the smoke, a figure walked forward. It was Sergeant Luis Carter. He was tall, with a heavy pack full of tools and charges. His armor was black and red, and his face was hidden behind a mask. He placed something on the wall, a timer. Then he disappeared back into the smoke. Garkal yelled, "Fall back!" But it was too late. The tunnel shook. Fire and rock exploded from the sides. The ground cracked open. Part of the squad was buried in seconds. Only Garkal and one soldier made it to the surface. They ran to their ship and launched into orbit. The mining base was lost. In the ship, Garkal looked out the window. The ground below burned. He felt both fear and respect. The Earthborn had turned a trap into their own victory. They knew we were coming, he said. Rek, burned and bleeding, looked at him. They planned all of this. Garkal nodded. They don't fight fair. They fight to win. He opened the ship's log and recorded the mission report. Enemy, Earthborn unit, 6 soldiers. Result, complete failure. Suggest, do not engage. He stopped and added one more sentence. If Earthborn are present, retreat at once. Rek asked, do you think they'll come after us? Garkal didn't answer. But deep down, he knew the truth. The Earthborn never forget. The story of the battle on Dren 6 spread fast. In less than 1 week, the news had reached deep space stations, mercenary camps, and warlord ships. Everyone was talking about the same thing: Earthborn units. Garkal's name was no longer spoken with pride. Instead, he became the one who had met the Earthborn and lived. People asked questions, but most of the time they stayed silent after hearing the answers. In a bar on Station Echo 9, 2 mercs sat in the corner. One of them had a scar across his face and a cybernetic eye. Did you hear what happened on Dren 6? He asked. The other nodded. Yeah, 6 Earthborn. Wiped out a whole squad. Not just wiped out, hunted them, broke their tech, took the base back without a real fight. The second merc leaned in. That's why I'm off the Terra Zone job. I won't step near anything Earthborn. They weren't the only ones. Other mercenary groups started canceling missions near Earth colonies. Some refused to take contracts at all if there was even a chance the Earthborn would be involved. It wasn't fear of death. Mercs face death all the time. It was fear of being outsmarted. Fear of not seeing the enemy. Fear of being hunted like animals. Back on Earth, in an underground base in the Rocky Mountains, a woman stood in a training hall. Her name was Commander Nora Blake. She watched a group of young recruits train in silence. They moved fast, low, and without speaking. They had no emblems on their armor, no names, just numbers. These were the next generation of Earthborn. Nora Blake had created the Earthborn program many years ago. She chose orphans from war zones, survivors from ruined cities, and former soldiers with nowhere left to go. She trained them not just to fight, but to adapt, to think, and to disappear. One of the instructors walked up to her. We just got word. Garkal filed a full retreat report. Nora smiled a little. Good. The message is working. She looked at a wall covered with photos of old missions, all marked as success, all done by Earthborn teams. They'll learn, she said quietly. Earth isn't weak. We don't forget. And we don't forgive. Outside the base, snow fell across the mountains. Inside, the Earthborn trained harder than ever. Somewhere in the stars, more mercenaries heard the name Earthborn and paused. They had a choice now, fight or walk away. Garkal sat in a quiet room on Station Talros, far from the front lines. The lights were dim and the air smelled of fuel and dust. His armor had been repaired, but his mind was not. He still saw the faces of his fallen team when he closed his eyes. A new group of mercenaries sat across from him. Young, confident, and full of questions. They didn't know yet. They hadn't faced real fear. One of them, a tall alien with green skin, asked, "Is it true? About Earthborn units?" Garkal didn't answer right away. He looked at his hands. They were steady now, but they hadn't been for weeks. "Yes," he said at last. "It's true." The room grew quiet. Another merc leaned forward, but there were only 6 of them. You had a full squad. They didn't fight like soldiers, Garkal said. They fought like something else. Like the battlefield was their home. He paused and looked each of them in the eyes. You think you're ready, but when you hear silence on the comms, When your tech dies without warning, when you feel like something's watching from the dark, then you'll know. You've met Earthborn. The recruits shifted in their seats. One of them quietly removed a mission chip from his wrist. He wasn't going anymore. Across space in a hidden control room, Nora Blake watched the mercenary networks light up. One by one, contracts were being dropped. Private armies were refusing jobs near Earth systems. Some had started calling Earthborn units by a new name, the Black Shadow. Her second-in-command walked in. "We've got their attention," Nora nodded. "Good. Fear is better than war." She turned to a screen showing 6 names, Brooks, West, Carter, and 3 others still in the field. "They're not heroes," she said. "They're reminders." Back on Talros, Garkal stood and walked out of the room. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't need to. Behind him, the mercenaries spoke in low voices. One of them asked, "What happens if we face them?" Another replied, "We don't." Later that night, a message moved through the black channels of the Merc world. It had only 6 words. "If Earthborn are near, go silent." A small drone floated high above a quiet planet. It moved slowly, hidden in the clouds. Below, a group of alien mercenaries was packing up their camp. They were leaving the job early. No one had attacked them. No shots were fired. But they had heard one thing. Earthborn units were near. The leader of the group, a rough-looking alien with metal plates on his back, looked around nervously. "We're not staying," he said. "Double speed, no talking. We leave now." His second-in-command frowned. "We don't even know if they're here." The leader shook his head. "I'm not waiting to find out." Up above, the drone captured everything. It sent the video to a hidden base far away. In a dark room, Staff, Sergeant Eli Brooks, watched the screen. He was older now. His face was lined, his eyes colder than before. He said nothing, just watched the mercenaries run. A voice came from the side. "They're leaving, just like the others." Brooks nodded. "Good." Behind him stood 5 figures, in black armor. They had no names on their suits, only numbers. The next Earthborn team. They stood quiet, watching their leader. Brooks turned to them. "This is what we do. We don't chase, we don't brag, we remind them." He stepped forward and looked each one in the eye. "Out there, they call us shadows. Ghosts. Monsters. Let them. It keeps Earth safe." One of the young soldiers asked, "Will they ever stop?" Brooks looked out the window. Stars filled the sky. "No," he said, "but we'll be ready." Far away, at a mercenary command post, a new job offer appeared on the screen. A rich client needed a team to enter Earth space, but no one accepted it. After 5 minutes, the offer disappeared. No one wanted to face Earthborn. In a dark bar, a mercenary whispered to another, "They're not human anymore. They became something else, something the rest of us can't beat." Back in the Earthborn base, Nora Blake watched reports come in. One message stood out. Merc Group Black Dawn pulled out. No fight. Just heard the name. She smiled. "Good. That's the power of memory." The screen showed a live feed of a new Earthborn unit training in the snow. Fast, quiet, and ready. And in space where war never ends, a new warning moved from one mercenary to another. Never cross Earth.